Scientology could be called, well, you could call it a religion of religions.
Howdy everybody, and welcome to the Indie Scientology podcast with your host Andy Nolch, the Space Cowboy. These are closed-door secret briefings about vital information about Scientology and the world that you need to know. Today's briefing is about EPs and your PCs. Should you let your PCs know EPs? And it'd be that must sound funny for someone who's not a Scientologist, but anyway, you'll understand as I talk along. It also relates to the placebo effect and your thoughts creating reality. And I've got a special video to watch that you need to watch here. This video is vital. Like, it's extremely important. It's just a YouTube video. It's actually a YouTube prank, but you have to see this video. I think this is essential data. Because if you know this, it's like, whoa, your whole concept of what is going on in the world and what's possible. It's like, hold on a second. If people just think something and then they go and do something and they're thinking it's going to do something and that thinking makes that thing happen, then what is reality? It's trippy. I'm going to go into it. But before that, I'm going to do a coronavirus update because it just got kicked to like a whole new level, and it's like, whoa. And I thought maybe it was going to, a few weeks ago when I did that briefing, I didn't think they would continually push this to how they're just pushing it more and more, and it's just like, whoa, this is crazy. I need to talk about it. And so I'm going to bring it up again, and I want to say that, like, firstly, is enough evidence is in for me on this coronavirus topic. It is a freaking cold. It's a common cold, okay? It's really nothing that bad. Now, maybe in Italy, some little pockets, the government, or the people who control the government, like CIA or something, released some little crazy bug or something, and it just went crazy in a little area, and they filmed it all and they put it out on the news, and it scared everyone. Maybe that happened in Italy or Wuhan, okay? But the bug that's going around America and most of the world, definitely Australia and Southeast Asia and Asia, that bug is a freaking common cold. Like, it is just a cold. And yes, if you are unhealthy and in bad shape, that cold can end up killing you because you're already on your deathbed. Now, if you're in healthy shape, you quite possibly might not even notice that you're sick. You might not even need to take a day off work. So, about this bug, there's no reason to be worried about it. Seriously, it is absolutely okay. Let yourself catch it. Don't bother. Don't bother trying not to, because it's quite catchy. It's just like, it seems like if you're just near someone, you can get it for just a few seconds, or I don't know how long, but it is very viral. That's the only difference between a normal cold, is that a normal cold is like, someone can be in the room and you can be in the same room as someone with the cold, and you can not get it. But this is pretty viral. So don't worry. It's so harmless that running around trying to avoid handshaking and sanitizing your hands all the time, doing all this silly stuff, it's just not worth the effort. You might as well just get sick and take one day off work, and that's it. I'm serious. It's okay. What seems to be going on is that the government or the powers that be are completely exaggerating this cold, and they're using it as an excuse to do all these things that they want to do, okay? So there's no reason to be scared of the bug. There's no reason to be scared of corona, okay? Do not get stressed or scared about it at all. The only people who should be on lockdown are the elderly and people who are in hospitals who are suffering from some other illness and they can't handle another illness. So this is why it's really ridiculous why the government's doing all this crazy stuff when it's just a common cold that's going around. Why the government's doing all this sort of stuff? Because this is some big program. They're trying to do something. We are living in a 9/11 event, right? 9/11 was a big event. The government created it in order to justify passing certain laws, bringing in more of a police state and starting a war in the Middle East, right? That event went for one day and then all the news reports for like the next 2 weeks, which were pretty heavy. So it was really only like a 2-week sort of thing, 9/11. This is a long-term thing. This is like, whoa. But actually, if you think about 9/11, they kept on pushing terrorists. So they kind of drew out that whole 9/11 thing for ages. So we're witnessing this as well, possibly with the flu, basically. They're going to draw this out for a long, long time. So you shouldn't actually be scared at all of the bug, but what should you be scared of? Well, maybe you should be scared of the government or the powers that be and what they're planning on doing. Now, it seems like there's definitely going to be a recession from this because they've just totally stuffed up the economy in what they've done. So we know that's coming, and that's okay. You need recessions every now and then. But, well, whatever, you might need them. It doesn't matter. But that the only thing to be fearful of is, and I don't think you should be, by the way, but if you are going to be scared, the only thing you should be scared of is what the hell is the government going to do with this? Where are they going with this 9/11 event? Are they going to fly a plane into a building? Now, obviously, this false flag that we're witnessing, this false epidemic that we're witnessing, it isn't involving terrorist attacks with aeroplanes or bombings or something. But this seems to involve a crashing of the economy. That seems to be a part of it. It seems that the way that they're doing their shutdown is, in Australia, it's still okay for kids to go to school. They made the school holidays earlier than usual, but after that, they're still going to school. And I don't think they're doing massive lockdowns on nursing homes and stuff, like hardcore ones. And kids can obviously spread bugs really easily, right? And so, they're shutting down yoga studios, churches can't go to meetings, restaurants and stuff, and possibly for 3 months. I mean, this is just freaking crazy, right? And they're also stopping. And the Prime Minister put an emphasis on it when he did his address. They're stopping, I think, auctions or open house auctions where people come in, I guess, at the same time and go and check out a house or something. That to me was really strange when he put an emphasis on that. Like, out of all the things he was reading out, he then said, and I've got to urge no open house auctions. And he was like, I'm really serious about that. And he was really serious. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting, because if you want to tank the economy, one thing that you want to do is you want to totally stuff up the auction industry. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like he put emphasis on that because they're the sorts of indicators people look at. The economists and stuff, they look at, they go, the share market's gone down, they go, and the price of housing's gone down, that's like another key thing. And then they go, the number of unemployed's gone up. So it's really interesting because I don't know, it seems like, they've said, they've put out all the brainwashing in the media and all that sort of stuff, and you shouldn't be watching it because a lot of it's just fake news with like fake statistics and stuff. But it's like, they're like, okay, cool, so the public's all scared now and think that there's this crazy bug out. Okay, now we can hit them with the shutdown. Now the shutdown's going to fuck the economy. That's kind of what it seems like they're doing. And then they're like, okay, let's do stimulus packages. And then the stimulus packages, like, firstly, they're giving a lot of money to people that are on the dole, and it's like, I don't know if that's, you know, how can you fix an economy when the economy's shut down? Like, things can't open. So it's like, it doesn't matter how much money you're throwing at it, the whole economy's stuffed. You know, businesses aren't allowed to operate. So it's almost like, I don't even know if they should throw money at it. It's a weird situation, but I don't know, analysing it and thinking of it as a program that the globalists are going through, the evil dudes at the top who are trying to control us. To me, it seems like quite possibly we've moved past the scare stage, and they've, I guess, achieved enough scaredness in people, and now they're in the stage of tanking the economy and bringing about some sort of depression. And they're probably going to try and pass vaccine laws, and maybe all these police state controls are going to go in, and then when this flu goes away, then they'll leave those controls in. Okay, so anyway, so the only thing you probably should be scared of is what the government's going to do next, you know? And I don't know, I think that maybe they've done enough. They've scared people enough. They've shut things down, so it's caused a ripple in the economy. And then now, maybe they've done enough to be able to pass all these vaccine laws or whatever it is that they want to do. But who knows? This is a long thing. I mean, they're doubling down on this one. I thought this was another small thing because, like, if you think about the Australian bushfire thing, that was gone for like a period of, I don't know, 7 weeks or something, and it was like, what the hell, you know? And that was like exaggerated and stuff. And then it died down, and then we moved on. And I kind of thought that would happen with this bug thing, but it's like, no, they're upping it to the next level, and then you're like, whoa, they're doing $1 trillion stimulus packages and stuff. Like, I mean, this is huge. It's like, whoa, this is a big thing. This isn't just one false flag shooting. This is a huge thing. This has a lot of things on their to-do list. So maybe you should be worried about what's coming. But after you watch this video that I'm going to play for you, and I talk a bit about PCs knowing EPs and stuff, and postulates and intentions and having your will, you'll understand that it's silly to be scared, and it's kind of embarrassing, really. Like, not for you. You might be, you're not embarrassed about being scared, but I'm embarrassed for you. Like, I think it's really pathetic, especially when you've been educated on postulates and intentions and Scientology and stuff. And then you go around just thinking that you're powerless compared to these guys who are sort of controlling the planet. It's just embarrassing, okay? I expect a higher standard from you people, from you Scientologists, and other people as well. I expect higher standard, okay? You should understand that the whole attitude of apathy, like, oh my God, what are they doing now? Oh yeah, they're doing it. I told you so. I said they're going to be doing this for ages and stuff, and they're actually doing it. And then you're getting freaked out and scared, and then you're like, you're acting like there's nothing you can do about it and stuff. And it's like, obviously you haven't had an experience in your life where you've changed the matrix, where you've changed this computer game that we're in. And it's just kind of pathetic and embarrassing. And, you know, I'm not concerned about what you think is going to happen with this and how far they're going to push it, because I know how powerful I am with my postulates, you know, with my intention and my will. So I'm not concerned. I'm not like, oh my God, this other person's thinking the opposite of me, so, oh no, it's going to ruin my postulate because his postulate's going to fight with mine. No. I know my postulate's going to totally out-trump yours. Just my postulate's going to happen, okay? And that's that things are going to be all right. And this is just, it's going to be like a little bit of a weird bump, and it's going to be interesting. It's actually going to be really good that this event happened. We're going to have much benefit come from this, and all these people wake up, and we're totally going to kick ass from this, and possibly we're going to send the globalists into apathy over this because they're just going to be like, oh my God, we give up on the public, you know, because we've been winning for so long, we've been kicking the butt, and they're just losing so horrifically, right? Anyway, I know how things are going to be, right? And so, anyway, so I'm not concerned about people who have counter intention on my intention. I just kind of think that it's embarrassing, and I'm embarrassed for you, but you don't recognize that it's embarrassing. Anyway, for people who are wogs, who aren't Scientologists, it's okay with you, but it's really like, if you're a Scientologist, it's like, whoa, this is like, it's just embarrassing. It's just like, haven't you worked out the truth of this reality and all this sort of stuff? Anyway. And also, I don't like the whole heavy, because people have been contacting me and stuff. I don't like the whole following a fake news thing and then thinking that fake news has accurate statistics in it and all that sort of stuff. You have to understand that the news is there to brainwash you, okay? You know, like what they put in the paper, like, something like, I don't know, government or someone says must buy 2 weeks of supplies of food in case of coronavirus. And then, like, you get all these people going to the shops and buying toilet paper and buying food and all this sort of stuff. And it's like the newspaper helped create that panic. You understand? The newspaper, like, scared people because they read it and they were like, oh my God, there's something going on. Oh, and then they rushed to the shops and then everyone just copied and suddenly the shop shelves are empty. You know? It's just ridiculous. They're messing with your mind. And then they show you cherry-picked footage and stuff, and it quite possibly could be actors. Like some of that crazy footage that we saw coming out of Wuhan, like of someone on the street lying down rolling. I mean, you don't understand, this could be actors. I think people cannot confront how hardcore the fake news is. Like, it is really fake. Like, and, you know, like, this is designed to scare the hell out of you. Like, I had my mum call me, like, a week ago, and she'd been watching ABC, which is like Australia's CNN, which is like Australia's BBC. It's basically government propaganda station. And she sounded to be scared from it. Like, it had scared her, because like it makes you think, oh, it's the apocalypse and all this sort of stuff, and like that's what they want you to think. They want you to get scared as hell, so that then they can then you don't resist, you go along with their changes and stuff. And also, it might be that the more people who are scared, then that scares other people and turbulates everyone, because everyone gets affected, like a disease almost of turbulation and scaredness and stuff. And it creates the panic, and people rush and they can't think, and they just, as soon as you get scared, you go into some hyper mode mind, and you can't quite make rational decisions and stuff. So you can't spot the out points in this whole program and all the bullcrap that's going on. So anyway, you just, I don't know. You shouldn't be watching so much fake news. And I know it's addictive. It's like fear porn. You're just like, oh my God, I want to hit on it. I want to like watch this corona thing. And maybe now it's died down a bit, but like definitely 2 weeks ago it was like, whoa, what's going on? Whoa. It's just like, just forget about it and just understand that you're playing with fire when you turn on mainstream media, like, and you watch it. It's like, it's designed by psychs basically to manipulate you and change how you think. Now, there is the theory of 5G being involved with this. And I don't know too much about it, but I think it makes possible sense that they're planning on rolling out 5G. What if 5G had some side effects, right? Then everyone would say, no, we're going to cancel 5G. Well, how do you mask the side effects of 5G? Maybe you release this coronavirus, and then anyone, as they turn on the 5Gs, people might get sick or something, and then they will see, I'm not even thinking straight. Like, I'm interpolated myself. Like, I've felt pretty interpolated for the past month, and I think it's because of all the craziness that's going on. I mean, who knows? They might have switched on some 5G thing right now, and I'm picking up on it or something. Like, I don't know, but anyway, so like, how could you mask these side effects of 5G? Well, you say that there's a virus going around, and then people are just like, what are you talking about? It's not because of your Wi-Fi or 5G that you're sick or whatever. It's because of the coronavirus or something like that. So this is like, 5G is possibly this huge worldwide control grid or something like that. It's advanced technology, right? But it does have fast internet. But it's quite possible that they needed to do a huge stunt like this so that they could pass some vaccine laws and also get the 5G started. Like, it makes sense. I don't fully know. We'll see how this pans out. But anyway, there's truth to it. Like, for example, recently I tried the Bluetooth headphones on the iPhone, right? And this was about 3 weeks ago, and this was when I was feeling really keyed in, right? And I don't think it was because of the virus, but I was feeling really keyed in, and I was really interpolated. I had a real rough week, and then I was like, hold on a second. This is ever since I've been wearing these freaking Bluetooth headphones. And I looked into it more, and these Bluetooth headphones, like, are like little microwaves. Like, they're like radiation. They're like having a phone to your ear sort of all the time, on a call though. So let's say you got the Bluetooth headphones connected to your iPhone, right? And you're listening to music, or you're listening to nothing, right? You got the Bluetooth headphones in, and you're walking around. That's the equivalent of you walking around with the phone to your ear, talking to someone on a phone call. So you know how you feel how your ear can get hot when you got a phone call and you feel a bad energy? Well, I can. It's not good for you. You're basically giving yourself cancer. When you wear those Bluetooth headphones, you're constantly like, it's like the equivalent of constantly being on a phone call. And then when you have a phone call, I don't even think it increases. It just stays the same amount. It's just always radiating a little bit all the time. And so for someone like me, and I'm sort of, I guess, spiritual or sensitive or something, it keyed me in, and it actually made me like PTS. Like, I was kind of like rattly and stressed and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, these freaking headphones. And they've got videos you can watch where people put radiation testers next to the Bluetooth headphones, and they go off and stuff. And so you've got to stay away from these Bluetooth headphones. I'm serious about that, okay? It's like walking around with your ear near a Wi-Fi router, like within 2 centimeters, like just near a Wi-Fi router. You're not going to do that. You've got to try and keep away from these Wi-Fi routers, you know. Anyway, so I understand the seriousness of 5G because it could do stuff like that where it sends you stressed and stuff, and like you can even sort of have accidents, and you're just more interpolated. And then if you're exposed to it for 20 years, I could see how it could cause cancer. So this 5G thing must be stopped. I mean, it's a bad type of thingo, and I also find it interesting how Apple has got rid of its headphone jack. So it's forcing people in the new technology. They're getting rid of the headphone jack, so it's forcing people to adopt the Bluetooth headphones. And I don't know, it's terrible. It's almost like there is a conspiracy that they want to force us onto these things because they know it has some sort of effect on us. It seems like they forced corporations through laws to put like folate or something, and it's not a real folate, it's like a fake folate, and the fake folate gives us cancer or some sort of illness long term. They've forced corporations to put this in bread, and it seems like that's a part of the depopulation agenda, because over time it gives people a disease and kills them off. And it's probably as well good for, makes it easy to make bread or something as well. But I mean, I looked into folate or whatever, and I was like, what the hell? Because there's like 2 types of folate. There's like folic acid, then there's folate, and it's just like, things are so complex. But we're living in this crazy Matrix Truman show where basically they're trying to reduce our population. So, you know, it makes sense that they'll put things in the vaccines or things in this and things in that, or try and release a technology that would slowly give us cancer, because then, you know, it just assists in their overall depopulation program. What's also interesting as well is that I noticed ever since like 2012 or something, I noticed that Hollywood was putting out lots of movies that were like doomsday movies. It kind of did make me get worried, because I was like, oh, well, what are they trying to get us accustomed to? Like, it was just like there was a lot of movies that showed like full-scale destruction, like big climatic destruction or big war destruction, or like there was one where like aliens came and there was sort of like a destruction or something. But it was kind of like, it wasn't just a coincidence. A lot of Hollywood is propaganda. And so I noticed this years ago, and I kind of thought, like, it's like they're getting us prepared for something. So it's like we've seen it in movies, so we're used to having some crazy pandemic or something like that. Like, I guess that movie Birdcage or Bird Box is probably an example. And maybe that sort of relates to Corona. But it does seem like, it doesn't surprise me that this bug has been released and then there's big things going on, because it's like they were getting us prepared for it. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, try and avoid the mainstream media, because they're going to brainwash you, and stay positive and all that sort of stuff. And if you are going to get scared, only get scared. Don't bother getting scared about the bug, because there's nothing wrong with the bug. It's fine. Now, about this, I guess I'll play this video, and then I'll go into the whole EP thing. But basically, I don't think that you should let your PC know the EPs of certain things. And I know that it's like with the Clear Cognition or OT8 or whatever, they don't let you know the EP. But when it comes to stuff lower on the bridge, like objectives and stuff, it seems like it's sort of okay, especially on the objectives co-audit, for people to sort of know the EP. And what I noticed was that if you've got a twin that's low-toned, this can really have an effect on them, and they're really suggestible, and so you don't want them reading the EP, because it can mess with them actually achieving the EP. So them reading it, having the idea of what they're supposed to get out of the process in their head, they then go to do the process, and having that in their head messes with them, and they end up doing the process for half an hour and going, oh yeah, I've got a greater ability to grasp communications within my environment. And it's like, you're just saying what you read in our Ron Hubbard bulletin, like an hour before we started this, you know. Where it's much better to just do it and not know what you're supposed to get out of it, because then you actually are, you know, when you sort of more got the, it's easy for your order to tell when you got the EP. Anyway, and so, well, I should probably play this video, but I just want to say, because I was twinned up with someone who was low-toned, and I had numerous twins when I did objectives, and, you know, I'm the sort of person with my case where, I mean, I would prefer not to know the EP, but even if I did read the EP, I kind of can just forget it and then walk around and be like, oh, what was the EP? I don't even know what it was. Like, and then, like, but some people who are more low-tone, particularly people who are 1-1, they're very literal. And also people who are obsessed with being like an amazing OT5, and like they have like this manic opinion of themselves, like they're really, really awesome. And they don't really think they need to do objectives. Like, this isn't that good for me. I'm like really an OT5. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they sort of, I don't know, they think that they're better than what they actually are. they're very susceptible to running into problems after reading the EP. Okay? So with some people it's kind of okay, like you shouldn't let them do it, but it's kind of okay if they know the EP, but with certain people, particularly if they're below tone 2, you have to be very strict on this. Just don't let them see the EP, because you can run into problems and it stuffs things up. Like, I know I said it before, but I'll just say it again. So my twin, he would like read the EP and then we'll go and do it, and I can just tell that because he'd read the EP as he was walking around, let's say the EP is like objects look more real or something. He's walking around with this idea, objects look more real, because he's just read the EP, objects look more real, and he's running and he's executing, and maybe the process is to touch a table or touch things, and he's like, objects look more real. Yeah, objects really look more real after like 15 minutes. And the truth is that if he was to do it without knowing the EP, he really would have been like 4 hours or something on the process. So it's no good and it creates problems. So I want to let people know that it's pretty important for Scientology and stuff. Because there's not really many things directly where L. Ron Hubbard says, do not, like there's not any strict rules. Because I noticed when I was on Objectives, like the suit wasn't like, hey, there's a rule against knowing the EP. It was like kind of cool with the PC knowing the EP. And one time I remember on a process, we did it, and I guess it was done fairly quickly, and I kind of knew he hadn't really gotten the EP, because when I was twinned up with this 1-1, I was twinned up with someone who was a big 1-1, and it was quite difficult to audit, because they just dramatise like mad. Like, I mean, it's just like you're basically being tortured as an auditor. I wouldn't put up with that again. Scientology is for the able. It's, just able doesn't mean, you've got fully functioning limbs. You know what I mean? Able means that it's like, for high quality people, and not these people who are manic, who think they're better than what they are and are mocking up that they're better than what they are. Scientology is for people who are basically above tone 2, which, yeah, is interesting. Because the whole point of doing Scientology is to bring you up and stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. It's a difficult subject, and, if you've got someone who's a nutter, who's below tone 2 and a strong 1-1, I mean, they are just like horrendous to deal with, and they're so confusing, and they're very... Anyway, I would stay away from it as an auditor. I want to become an auditor one day, and hopefully I get to the point where I'm busy enough where I don't have to accept PCs that are just like super difficult like that. And I even think from day one, as soon as I become an auditor, I can tell if someone's just like one of these 1-1s that are just a pain in the ass. I'm just going to be like, no. I'm just going to be like, I've been down there before. I've twinned with like 3 people who were 1-1s when I was on Objectives, because I had about 7 twins in total, and somehow I managed to have like 3 1-1 twins. And man, it's just tough. Anyway, so basically this PC I had, I kind of knew that he hadn't really got the EP, but he said what the EP was and stuff. And throughout most of the processes I ran them on, he was trying to run away from them and avoid doing them. He was trying to rabbit and stuff. And he was just borderline about to just run out of the course room and never do Scientology. So it was a crazy situation. But anyway, the CS said that he was done on it. And then we did a few more processes. And then he ended up saying something like, I'm not really flat on that process earlier, and wrote it to the CS. And I was like, yeah, I knew that. And so then the CS said, we can go back and do it. And we just did it, and we started it from the start. And then we sort of actually did it properly to a proper EP. And I was like, yeah, I knew the first time we did it was bullshit. I knew that you needed to do it again. And so, like, I didn't say that to him, but I knew that we needed to do it again. I could just tell I'm pretty switched on. And in fact, we ended up finishing Objectives after being twinned up for a while, and probably 60% of the thingo we probably need to all do again, because he'd just done so much rabbiting and so much of reading of the EPs before running them and stuff. It was just crazy. Because a lot of people, particularly people who are 1-1, they cannot, well, people who are low-tone, they can't confront, a lot of people can't confront how long objectives actually takes, but people who are particularly low-tone, they really can't confront how long is required on their cases on objectives, because objectives really handles the insane person if you can get them to do it. And so that's the big problem, if you can get them to do it. So anyway, they try and run away from it big time. But anyway, this idea of your thoughts creating reality, or what you think affecting what occurs in the process, because you want to go in and do an objective process and have no idea what you're supposed to get from it, or maybe just have a tiny bit but not actually know the EP. That's the ideal case, right? But if you go in there with something in your head like it's going to make my vision better or something, you go in and you do it and it can change your experience. And the problem is that your thoughts can sort of create reality. And so, and that's what I'm going to show in this video, because it shows these girls smoke fake marijuana and then they actually get high from it because they've been front loaded. They've already read the EP that you're supposed to get high or whatever. You see what I mean? And then they went and smoked and then they got high, even though it's impossible, right? So it's like, what the hell? So it's like me getting a process right, pretending like it's from Hubbard, and creating a process and saying EP, will be able to think clearer, right? And I just made that up. Like, the process doesn't even do anything. All you're doing is moving shoes around or something, right? Like that, right? Then you hand it to him, you get it, he reads it, right? And he goes, oh, wow, make you think clearer. And he goes and does it, and he's like, wow, he moves the shoes around. He goes, at the end of it, he goes, wow, like, I really got that EP. Like, yeah, I can think clearer and stuff. And it's just like, whoa, dude, I made up that process. I made up the EP. Like, you weren't supposed to get anything from that. So it's just like, what the hell is the deal with that? So clearly, that's actually might be one way you can test a PC if you're having problems with them, like wanting to know the EP or something like that. Just do a little test like that, and then you realize you should just do a tone scale test, and if they're low toned, you'll know. But if you can't spot them on the tone scale or whatever, do a little test like that, and then you'll go, oh, I'm dealing with someone who's suggestible, someone who's a nutter, basically. And so, so you really, then you know from there on, okay, I really have to stop this person from reading any EPs, because this is going to really mess with this person's case, But there's a certain percentage of the population, I don't know what it is, but they literally, if you tell them something, then they get influenced by that. I'm pretty sure it's the 1-1 tone. They get influenced by it. It's like words are really literal to them. So let's say you've got a brochure and it says like, go and look at a dawn trek up a mountain or something like that, and you're going, and they're on a holiday, and they see the brochure. It says, yeah, go on a dawn trek, and it says like an amazing magical journey that starts at 4 a.m. and you get to see a beautiful sunrise or something like that, right? And the truth is, you go on this trek and you go up a mountain and it's kind of cool and stuff, and then the sun comes up and it's not that amazing. It's just like, usually as the sun comes up, it's overcast, and like you see the sun go down every day, you're not that amazed by it. So why is it amazing for the sun to come up? It's not an amazing thing, right? But because you've created a nice brochure, right, and you front load the person with the idea that you're going to have an amazing trek and you're going to have a beautiful sunrise and stuff, some people who go on that trek will experience the sunrise, and they'll be sitting there and they'll be like, oh, this is so cool, yeah, and they'll snap photos, and they'll go home from their holiday and they'll say to their friends, oh, I went on this amazing morning sunrise trek and it was so good. And it's just like, dude, I was there. It just became light slowly over 45 minutes. It just became light, like the same way every evening it just goes dark. I mean, we didn't see some amazing colours in the sky. We didn't even see the sun come up. There was clouds all over. How the hell was a sunrise trek that amazing? You know what I mean? What are you talking about? And then you find out that the person is one of these suggestible people that have been front-loaded by the advertising on the flyer. And what other people, like the salesperson said, like, yeah, go on a sunrise trek or whatever, and it influenced the person, right? So this is actually really deep data I'm telling you, because it's like data about how advertising works and how there are people here in the world who are just, you say things to them and it affects them. And there are definitely people like this in Scientology where if you tell them something before they do it, they're like, wow, that was just so amazing and cool. And you just like if I'd said to you, right, that, oh, this is really, really bad, and then you went and did it, you'll come back and go, oh yeah, it was bad and it was terrible. Like, people are like this. I'm not kidding. People, like, you need to know this, and this is how music works and stuff. Like, some people, they almost like don't determine their own reality, as they don't listen to a song and go, oh, I like that, or oh, I didn't like that. Like with me, it doesn't matter what someone else says to me, what I read in their brochure or what someone else says to me. If I listen to a song and I like it or don't like it, that's because I like it or I don't like it. Other people, you can show them a song, or you can show them a morning trek or a Scientology process or something, and they're influenced by what they've been told before they've done it. So if the song is, someone says, this is a new hit song, it's really good by Bruno Mars, they go to listen to it and it's a disgusting, terrible song. And they're like, wow, that song was so good. Right? They're sort of like, it's something about these one-ones people, they're in like this, they're just in this insane, like, they're not strong, self-determined, independent beings that think for themselves. It's almost like they just become mush where they can't even think, and they're just like, whoa. Anyway, so advertising very much takes advantage of this element in people where they can be front-loaded and affected. Anyway, so if you run across one of these cases in Scientology, yeah, you just obviously got to make sure you keep those EPs away from them. Anyway, this is really interesting because you see what these people are like when they smoke this fake weed. So I'm going to play this video and I'm going to put the link to it in the comment section because it's very important for you to understand this element. It's just, you have to understand that people like this on Earth, and you have to understand that advertising uses this all the time, as in, like, when they're selling songs, they try and make the singer look like he's Michael Jackson and even sound a little bit like he's Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson's good, right? And so then you got Bruno Mars and he goes and dances around and he's getting you to think, yeah, this is good, music, yeah, even though the music's crap. But they're trying to trick you. They're putting the wrapping paper around it. They're trying to front load the person, right, into thinking this song's good, right? And then you play the song and then people actually go, yeah, this song's cool, and they go along with it. And it's just like, this song's crap. And they do the same thing with movies as well. Like, you can make a really nice movie that's artistic and cool and stuff, but then like they put like a wrapping paper around it to try and make you think this movie is really good. And someone who's actually an independent individual and thinks for themselves will watch the movie and be like, that wasn't good, you know? Anyway, and I noticed this with stand-up comedy, actually. You got someone like Jerry Seinfeld who's, like, good, funny, right? And you get someone who'll come along, like, after him, and he'll have the similar clothes, he'll do the similar things, and he's, like, making you think, making the appearance of that is funny, but his jokes actually aren't funny. But he's tricking the audience. And they do this as well with all these late night comedy shows. They put in fake laughter, right? They put this in heaps. Right, because and they use it on sitcoms as well, because the truth is, if they didn't wrap it up with this wrapping paper, this con, you would just sit there and you would go, this isn't funny. But what they do is they put the canned laughter in, and they they all like they make you they're trying to trick you into laughing, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's funny and stuff, but it's a head fuck. Your head's being messed with. This is why advertising's a deep thing. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, it's just interesting. So I'm going to play this video. So check this out, because this is wild. Like, you have to hear these girls. They smoke fake weed and they think that they're getting high off it, and then the guy tells them that that it's just fake weed, and they're like, no way, and they don't believe him because they're like, I'm high, right? So this also leads into how your thoughts can create reality, which is the main purpose, the main meaning of this briefing, because it relates to where we're going with this coronavirus false flag epidemic. So anyway, have a listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Ryan from Hammy TV, and today I wanted to do a little experiment on Tinder. I made a profile stating that I would like to hang out and get high. The most popular way people are smoking nowadays is through vape, but of course, there's a catch. There's absolutely zero marijuana in the vape juice that we have. There's also no nicotine, so there's no possible way that you could get high. We switched it to another bottle and made a fake label that says it in fact does include THC. They're gonna think that they are getting high. It's not possible to get high. There's nothing in it.
So this reminds me so much of this false flag epidemic, because this is like the government. It's like the government. See what he did? He got the stuff that doesn't have weed in it, and he put the label, he put it in the bottle that says this is weed, right? So you got a fake thing. It's like you've got just a common cold going around, but you put all the wrapping paper and the media and the advertising saying this is a crazy epidemic, and the masses go, whoa, this is a crazy epidemic, and they act like it and they change, right? And everyone gets tricked. So the people who the psychs who are in control of who influence our governments and that sort of stuff, and these people at the top, they know this element about us and people is that we can be front loaded, and we're suggestible basically, and we can just be like tricked like this and stuff, and they take advantage of that when they're doing these false flags.
Watch how these girls act when they smoke. Hope you guys enjoy. Hi.
Hello.
You're real.
No, you're real.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Hi. Tinder.
I'm real. Is that a camera?
Yeah, that's for when I race. See the numbers? But no, it's not on.
Okay, because, I'm a mom and stuff, so...
You're a mom?
I'm a mom, yeah.
They spotted the cameras.
I kind of got lost, but it wasn't that hard.
What's this thing for?
The camera?
Yeah, the camera.
That's only for when I race. See the numbers? I race my car.
He makes them think that it's not recording,
just
so...
leave it up there. You look different than your pictures. Is it not you in the pictures on there?
No, it's my sister.
You know, like vapor and stuff?
Yeah.
That just has the
It's a
marijuana concentrate.
photo
That's
on
all
the
it is. It's
Tinder
just a
profile.
concentrate. It just comes in like a normal,
Yeah, it's just like that hash oil.
You ever had it before?
No. Let's do it.
All right.
This video really blows my mind, actually, because I felt like kind of when I was growing up, I kind of felt like, I guess maybe with music or with movies or with things that were in fashion, like going to the horse races or something, I would kind of be thinking, do people actually enjoy this, or are they just enjoying it because they've been told by advertising to enjoy it? Like, let's say you're watching a Super Bowl or something, there's all this advertisement and all this sort of stuff hooping it up, and then at the end of the day, it's like, do people actually really enjoy watching other people throw a ball around or something? I don't know, it's kind of interesting, you understand, anyway, just sort of changes things. I felt like I was hanging around, I felt like a lot of people in my environment had been influenced by things that were just in fashion, and I kind of thought, yeah, anyway, whatever.
Oh, that's really strong.
It's not sketch. Good?
Yeah.
So just hold it. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that hit me fast. too. My arms are all tingly. I think I could cut.
Because this sort of relates to me, because I've never really enjoyed marijuana the times that I've tried it. And I think maybe it's because I think for myself, but I just feel like because these girls are trying fake marijuana and they're going, whoa, yeah, it's so good and stuff. And it's just like, what if heaps of people, when they smoke marijuana, right, when they actually smoke the real stuff, they're just getting influenced by what they think marijuana is supposed to do. And I'm sort of like an unbrainwashable person or something. Like, I just think for myself, and I'm like, I don't feel good. I actually don't like this, you know. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, what if they're just like getting influenced by the idea of marijuana and what it's supposed to do to you? Anyway.
Trying to taste it, like a little bit in there.
So I have a little confession.
What?
I'm married.
You're married?
Yeah.
Because I always kind of thought, like, is there something wrong with me? I was like, why? Like, this just doesn't... I don't like this, you know? And, because I tried marijuana, like, in one of these vape things, when I was in LA fairly recently, and even just, like a little puff... Like, I didn't even, like, I can't even, like, it was just, like, it wasn't, like, a joint or something like that. Like, I mean, whatever it was, like, it was just such a small amount. But, like, I wasn't good after that. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It didn't particularly make me feel good or anything. And I remember I hopped in, like, an Uber, and the Uber driver looked at me. I was like, yeah, we're going to go here. And the Uber driver looked at me and was like, are you all right? And I was like... Yeah, like, I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, but obviously the way I hopped in his car and said, hey, we've got to go down there, blah, 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 he just looked at me like, whoa, you're fucked, or something like that. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just I've never been a fan of marijuana, and it's just like, what if heaps of people who are actually into marijuana are just liking it because they've been brainwashed into liking it, and if they weren't front-loaded and you gave them, like, something and said, hey, this is just a menthol, have a smoke of it, but it's marijuana, and you see how it would have to do a test. It's the opposite of this, where you give them marijuana, but you don't tell them it. You just say, oh, it's just a menthol flavored thing. And then you observe their behavior. I bet you a lot of marijuana smokers would kind of act the way I act, like the way I react to it, like, where I'm not into weed. Like, and anyway, it's just really interesting.
Oh my god. Tinder, smoke and chill. Do you really feel it that much?
I feel really good. Really good. Like I'm floating.
I kind of want to.
See, she said she's floating. I mean, she hasn't even smoked marijuana, right? And she's high. This is just fascinating, and for people who hate Scientology and just think that it's the effects that people get from it, it's all in their head. This is kind of good evidence backing it up, because it's like the person's heard from Hubbard that they're going to get this sort of result or whatever, so they've been front loaded. Then they go in and they do Scientology, and then they're like, whoa, yeah, it was so good, man. Oh yeah, grade 1 was like amazing and stuff, and it's just like. It could be just like this with the fake marijuana example. And I have no doubt with some people who do Scientology, it is like this marijuana example where they've just bought the advertising and they're suggestible, and that's why they're having a cool experience in Scientology or whatever. But the reason why I know Scientology is real and isn't just all in people's head is because, you know, because that doesn't tend to affect me, that whole idea of front-loading or whatever. And also, when I go to do things, and other people go to do things, and they haven't been told what they're supposed to get out of it, they go and they do it, and they end up saying things that are like the EP. Like, they go, oh yeah, things like that looks more defined, that table. And the EP is like, can see clearer, or something like that. So do you see what I mean? And it's like... This is why when I first did objectives and my twin started yawning when I was asking her to touch the wall, and then she fell onto the floor, I was just like, whoa. It really blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? I was just asking her to touch the walls and stuff. That was like a big jaw-dropping moment. It was like, whoa. Because it was like, what the hell is going on? Like your whole sense of, when you do Scientology, your whole sense of reality goes out the window because you're like, whoa, how was that possible? Imagine going up to someone and asking them like 4 times in a row to touch the wall. Then they start yawning and then they fall on the ground. They're like, oh man, I'm going to pass out. And you're like, I was just asking you to touch the wall. Like, what the hell's going on? Right? And then, like, funky stuff happens. Like, it is amazing. But anyway, it's kind of like the time when a psychic person said something about me that was really relevant. And, like, it wasn't vague. It was quite specific. And I was like, whoa, how did this psychic know that? I was like, wow, they really have this ability. And then you look into it further and you find that the government are using psychics and stuff. And, like, it is a special ability. Anyway, anyway, when you're going through your awakening, like for me, it was maybe 4 or 5 things that happen that are like jaw-dropping, where you're like, whoa, your whole sense of what's possible goes out the window. You're like, whoa. Like maybe like the Mandela effect. You find out about the Mandela effect and you're like, what? The Mandela effect? What the hell? That's actually probably that's probably the biggest one out of all of them. To be honest, the Mandela effect's wild. Anyway, so this is just incredible.
You want it? Yeah.
I think I can feel myself getting higher and higher.
Okay. Do you feel it though or no?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel it in your mind?
It's taking my brain a minute to process what you're saying because
It's so high. I think some people when they go to do objectives as well is that they're like, it's like smoking weed. It's a fashionable thing to do, like amongst Scientologists or whatever. So when they go to do the process, they're like, oh, whoa, yeah, like that so keyed me out and that was like wild and stuff. And they're literally doing the same thing where they've just tricked themselves into it. They haven't legitimately got the EP, you know. Anyway.
I know how I feel right now. Unless you have like a wicked high tolerance, like how are you even driving?
All right, I'm gonna run in here real quick and get a water.
Okay.
Do you want anything?
I'll have a water.
This girl's grabbing more and
Ashley,
smoking
how you
more.
get so high? Ashley, how you get so high?
And she's taking a selfie now and singing. Now watch this. Her friend calls her.
Hello. Yeah, it's really him. So he gave me like, well, he had this stuff. It's like the THC stuff, and you put it inside the vape. I've already had like 1 million hits, and I'm totally feeling retarded. Oh no, this girl's looking.
See, she's saying to a friend on the phone, she's like, I've had some hits and I'm totally feeling retarded. Like she really is high from this fake marijuana. It's fascinating. This is the sort of stuff they should show us at school. You can learn more from this than anything. Sit the kids down in grade 6 or whatever and say, hey, look at this. What's your sense of reality? These girls got high from fake marijuana. Get to the bottom of this rabbit hole and you'll understand advertising and how the whole world works and false flags, and it's amazing. I mean, that's why when you see that footage of like somebody rolling on the streets of Wuhan, like with the disease going, I'm sick or whatever, and you're just like, that person, it could be in their freaking head. They could basically have the sniffles, the common cold, but they've heard that there's this crazy disease that's killing them, and they've gone panicking and scared, and you're like, oh my God, you know, like, and it's just like, if that was Andy, he would just be like, I'm feeling sick, and I don't get why they're saying that, like, there's some crazy pandemic going on, because all I do is feel like a bit bad, and I've got the sniffles. Well, this other person's like, oh, it's good, and they roll on the floor, and they're like, and then people get their phones out, and they film it, and then it creates a viral video, and then it goes around the world, and then people are like, oh my God, there's some crazy pandemic in Wuhan, and it's like, no, there wasn't. Like, that person was freaking suggestible. Like, what the hell? The person's a nutter, you know? That, or like the fake news media literally got an actor to do that stuff. you know, and they film it in low quality and stuff, and they, like, instead of using their film cameras to do it, they have, like, someone's phone, and then, like, yeah, we'll make a viral thing out of this. And anyway, you have to understand how this false flag works. They've got a lot of staff doing and executing things, and it's quite possible they could have set that all up.
There's like one person working the whole place.
Oh, really?
I like those glasses. They look like Amber Rose. Big ass line.
Yes!
So this girl's got the
Like
munchies.
too high to open this damn thing.
She said she's too high to open the chip packet. I mean, this is crazy. This other girl.
It separates the girls.
Pushes them up.
No, it doesn't. Those are so good.
Are you high though, for real?
Yes. High as fuck! Hey, how does this work? Oh my god, I totally left my chips back here. See, this would be embarrassing if I was the only one high and you weren't.
Advertisers would have studied this stuff back in the 50s with surveys or whatever, and they would have been like, yes. They would have been like, okay, we need to induce this effect in our products, like cars, clothes, anything. Like, you've got to have it, the advertising and stuff, so that this person is expecting to be driving an amazing car, and the car doesn't have to be amazing. Anyway.
Why are you looking at me?
This is also, I think, partially why sometimes you see people with fashion wearing ridiculous things, and it's like, if the person was thinking straight or haven't been brainwashed by advertising, they would never wear those clothes. Like some of those ripped jeans that were like just completely too ripped or something like that, just crazy amount of ripped, or like, I don't know, you know how some of the strange stuff you can see that's in fashion, you're just like, what the hell is this? But the only reason they're wearing it is because they think it looks cool, and they think it looks good because the advertising has made them think it looks good. They think it looks good because it's got a $200 price label on it. They've been front loaded. Whereas if they just saw it in an op shop or something, they would be like, they wouldn't buy it. Like, they'll put it, and if you force them to put it on, they'll go, oh, this looks stupid or whatever. They've been front loaded. I mean, it's like, makes you wonder how much thoughts are your own.
I'm wicked lit. You put them back there?
I think so. Let's do it. Oh my god, they're totally up front.
They're not that.
No, they're there. Poor kids.
She climbed in the back of the car looking for something, and she just was acting like she was high, basically.
We don't mind you.
You see this? This was actually, you can't really tell, but this is a camera. We're doing a video for YouTube. There's really nothing in it.
What do you mean nothing of it?
There's actually no THC, there's nothing in it. It's just normal vape, and it just put a fake label on saying that it had THC to see if people would think that they're high. Like you were high, but you couldn't have been high. It's not possible because there's nothing in that.
I'm definitely high.
I mean, there's,
So-
there's not even nicotine. Like, there's nothing in it. We just made a fake label.
You're pulling my leg right now.
I think you're getting high, but there's really no way you could have gotten
Shut
high.
up.
You said you were high, though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. All that was just nothing.
Yeah, this is like not even nicotine. There's nothing in it.
You're a freaking idiot.
I know you're lying to me about that because I'm really high.
I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth.
She doesn't believe him.
Oh my god, I'm like so embarrassed.
We just made the label. All right, well,
Wow. Okay, well.
Alright, well, look. That's just freaking incredible. I mean, really, so from a psychological point of view, it's like, whoa. What was that? Just ponder on how deep that is. Now, do you see how it's important for PCs not to read the EP before they do the process? Because they really get affected by an idea that's in their head. These girls had the idea they were going to get high. So they took something that wasn't even going to get them high, and they got high. So it's important. Now, also, this also might prove the whole idea that your thoughts create reality and influence the matrix. And that relates very much to what's going on with this pandemic and stuff, because you have to understand that you just saw that. Those girls legitimately were acting like they were high. They really thought they were high, right? So when it comes to this false flag and what's going to happen as a result of it, you have to think that it's going to be all right, that it's going to be fine. Or whatever you want to get out of this pandemic. Because that can actually become reality. Just like it became reality for these girls. Right? So we don't know where this false flag is going to go. We don't know if they're going to bring on a depression way worse than you could ever imagine. Right? We don't know if they're going to continually do this for the next 10 years and it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and maybe they will release a real bug that will kill everyone. I mean, this could go anywhere, right? We're right now live experiencing an epic false flag or something. You know, they could suddenly just, I don't know, roll out police everywhere and it'll be like full Big Brother. This could be Big Brother coming, right? So this is where you have the window of opportunity to start using your thoughts to create reality, the reality that you want. You can start being an OT now. You can start using your will and affect the whole world, because it's possible for your thoughts to affect the whole world. And maybe that's why they do the whole scare tactic and everything, because they really want to use everyone's abilities of thoughts creating reality to combine and create a crazy pandemic or something. So this is an opportunity now for you to actually be the God that you are. And maybe you don't know that you're a God. Maybe you don't know that your thoughts can create reality. Maybe you don't know that your will can actually affect the whole freaking world, my universe included. Your will can affect mine, my will can affect yours, right? As crazy as that sounds, I know it doesn't make sense, because it's like, well, Andy, if your will, is it your will that controls the whole world, or is it my will that controls the whole world? Well, here's where things get really deep and confusing and stuff, but I haven't fully worked out the reality of this experience that we have, but it seems like parallel universes exist. And wherever you put your attention, your will, your thoughts, it can direct you into the parallel universe of your desire. And guess what? There isn't just one Andy out there. There isn't just one Trump or Sarah out there, okay? There are Trumps and Sarahs and Andys in parallel universes, right? So if you change your thought, right, to, let's say you start getting scared and you change your thought to there's going to be a full police state rollout, right? There's a parallel universe version of me where I'm making a video going, oh my God, they're rolling out the police state. I'm like Alex Jones. I'm like, oh my God, they're coming now. They're coming after us. There's full-blown 1984, and it actually happens, right? There's a parallel universe, right, version of me where that's what's going on. You, like a record player, you select the DVD or the record, the parallel universe where I'm saying that there's going to be a police state. And you go, and so you go into that whole reality, right? This is kind of, it means you're kind of alone, really. As you really are God, right? And so, whereas I have my thought that everything's going to be cool and sweet, and then I tune into that, I select that record, that DVD player, that game, that Xbox game, the one where everything works out all right, and this false flag is a good thing, because that's kind of what I want at the moment. I don't really want the police state at the moment. So I go and I tune into that, and you're going to be in that reality, the version of you that made the decision that everything's going to be all right. So do you see what I mean? So at the same time, I know this sounds crazy, but because there's all these parallel universes with parallel me and yous, you can have your own reality right now. You can have your reality of that everything's going to be bad or everything's going to be good. And either way, you're going to find me in either reality. So you do create your own reality, right? Regardless of what reality I'm creating. Do you see what I mean? So I can have the postulate, everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be fine, and I'm going to go down that path, right? That timeline, that parallel universe. You can have the thought, right, that, oh my God, the police say it's coming. I knew it. I've been studying this sort of stuff for years. X-Files was talking about it. Alex Jones was talking about it for ages. It actually is happening. They're releasing a pandemic. Everything's going to come in. The police say it's going to go crazy and stuff. And you can go down that parallel universe. And you'll really go into that. And you'll find the parallel universe version of me there. Okay? I'm telling you, I know this is such deep data, but I'm serious. I've been looking into parallel universes. It's so fascinating. I'm serious. I'm certain of it. In my life, I have met and spoken with parallel universe versions of my mum, right? And other people, like one lady at like this work thing, I noticed that we switched into a parallel universe, right? One where randomly the carpet at home was damaged, right? No reason for it. We're just in a parallel universe where there's this damage on the carpet. It's not supposed to be there, right? And in this new universe, the person from work, the lady, she didn't know how to use a tap, right? But I'm in the other universe, I knew the version of her that knew how to use a tap, and she didn't have Alzheimer's where she just forgets how to use a tap. I popped into a universe where there's a different version of her, right? And the truth is that someone who is like a parallel universe surfer, like I kind of am, to be honest, this is so much deeper than Scientology, to be honest, but it's true. I'm not making this stuff up. I cannot emphasize it more. You have to look into the Mandela effect and parallel universes. There's books on it, and there's science backing it up. Anyway, basically, I know that I've switched parallel universes and stuff, and I know that I've spoken to, you know, in 2017, I was talking to this this person, and then the same person in 2018 was a parallel universe version who was different. Okay, I know that is genuine and is what's going on. So the person who's listening to this video right now, I know that there's parallel universe versions of you, and right now I know that there's parallel universe versions of me, and obviously I'm not really in touch with them, but it's wild. But anyway, this isn't I'm not making this stuff up. This is really serious, okay? I'm being honest, right? So when it comes to all this, when I say that whatever you think, whatever parallel universe you want to go into, you can actually go into it, I really mean it. And even if I want to go in, let's say I want to go into a parallel universe where everything's purple, right? You want to go into a parallel universe where everything's pink, right? You can get that reality, and I can get mine, right? Because there's all these other versions of me, and one of them damn well wants the world pink. Do you understand? So, I know this is really deep data, but basically this relates to this false flag, right? It's up to you now to decide where this goes. Remember that. And if you keep on tuning into the mainstream media, they'll send you down a parallel universe that you probably don't want to go down. It's really important. And speaking of this really deep stuff, I've got to wrap this video up. But it's quite possible that this attitude I have, this stubborn attitude I have where I can select the universe of my own will, is quite possibly the reason why this isn't a real pandemic. Do you understand that? I could have been in a universe where they released a bug and it actually was killing those people in Wuhan. Right? But then I was like, bull crap, I don't want that reality or whatever, you know. And then, like, I don't want that to happen or whatever. And then I went into a parallel universe version where it was just a common cold and the media was hyping it and pretending like it was a real bug. Do you understand? Because you have to understand, because I don't know if I told you already, but I caught corona when I was in Asia, right? And this is why I've known it's bullshit from the start, because it was just, I felt a little bit bad, and all these other people were coughing, and I knew this wasn't something that was killing people, right? But when I caught it, right, I hopped on the bus next to two American girls who were coughing, right? And I knew that there's a bug going around, I shouldn't sit near them or whatever. My seat was booked to be right near them, like less than a meter, right? And so I was like, oh my God, should I leave the bus or whatever? Like, this is crazy. There's no other seats available, right? But I had the attitude, right? This is where I'm being OT and tuning into the parallel universe of my desires, using my will. I had the attitude that it's going to be all right. Like, nothing bad's going to come of it. I didn't have the attitude of, oh my God, I'm actually going to get a virus that's going to kill me and stuff. That's why I sat down there. If I thought that I was actually going to get a crazy coronavirus that was dangerous, that was going to kill everyone, I would not have sat on the bus next to them. Part of the reason why I was cocky and I actually sat in the seat I was supposed to sit in and I didn't run away was the fact that I knew that I was OT. You see what I mean? Like, deep down, I knew that my thoughts couldn't create reality. I had that disgusting cockiness in me, because some people, they might view it as disgusting. Some people don't understand, like, how cocky and confident I am. Like, I believe I can change the whole freaking world. I absolutely believe that because of this, parallel universe stuff. But I have that element in me. If I was weak, if I was a wuss, if I didn't realize that I'm God, I would have said, whoa, I'm leaving the bus. But you know what I did? I said, this is annoying, but stuff it. It'll be all right. You know what I mean? I can create reality. And I went and I sat down. I'm not kidding. I sat down on that bus. At that very moment, that could have diffused the whole of the corona thing on the world. Because our thoughts seriously can create reality, right? This is why the powers that be don't like people getting involved with Scientology or Rosicrucianism or funky spiritual cults or whatever. They don't want you knowing the secret, because stuff like this can happen. Anyway, I want to let you guys know that. And there's also an idea amongst ufology where I heard from naval intelligence, which knows a lot about the UFO topic. And one of the datums from naval intelligence was that the big thing that the government found out, or the Navy found out from the aliens, was that our thoughts can create our own reality, right? And the powers that be who heard this were worried because it would create sort of chaos. If everyone's being a god, it will create chaos. The reason why you have a whole world and a whole system and everything's going, and the powers that be at the top controlling the whole world and stuff, is because they've got all these people thinking that they're not gods. All these people not using their power of intention, right? And so that enables the whole groupthink thing, right? If you have antis everywhere, it's just like, whoa, like all their power distables and breaks down. And so that's what we could be witnessing with this coronavirus. It could be not just because of me. There's so many people awake these days that there's just too many of us, and it's literally diffused the coronavirus. Anyway, I don't have the time in this video to explain parallel universes fully, to give you all the evidence, to explain how thoughts can create reality. But like you just saw, this is enough that I showed you this video. That's enough for you to realize how powerful thoughts are. Those girls took a substance that wasn't weed and they actually got high from it. I'm telling you, it's powerful, right? I could have come across a genuine coronavirus bug that was dangerous on that bus trip. But my thoughts changed it. Like that. I changed the matrix. Anyway, I've got the hard evidence. I mean, this is evidence, this video. I've got a toothbrush that I changed the bristles on the toothbrush. I said, this toothbrush is going to be all right. It was the same sort of attitude I had to the corona thing when I was on the bus. Like, I'm going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Right? Right? I had that attitude with this toothbrush years ago. The bristles were old and I was like, should I throw it out? And I was like, it's going to be all right. Next time I checked them, they were brand new, and they've been brand new ever since. The bristles are just like, they've just reverted back to being perfect ever since. It's magical, okay? It's magical. I'm serious. This toothbrush, I've still got it. It's amazing, right? What the hell happened there? I was God. Bristles went back to brand new again, and have been brand new ever since. Coronavirus, it's just like a little common cold. It can be done, okay? It's just probably changing some code in the computer game or something. Somehow I tap into it or something like that. But I just want to make the emphasis. I want you to understand. I know maybe you haven't changed a toothbrush to being brand new again, and I can't do anything on will. I can't just pick up a hat and make it somehow go back to brand new again. I mean, I don't know how the hell I did it, but I've done it, and I know it's real, okay? You need to know that. So, anyway, right now the question is, what are you going to do about this huge event? Where are you going to where are you going to send this? Do you want to go into a police state? Do you not? Where do you want to go with this? It's up to you. You really are powerful. That's it for this briefing. I've been your host, Andy Nolch, the Space Cowboy. You've been listening to the Indie Scientology podcast. So remember, what you thought was impossible is possible.